Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. Governorate of Dhofar prepares to receive visitors of the Kharif season. The Greek Prime Minister and German Chancellor agree that Athens would present proposals to the Eurozone summit. And foreign ministers from major powers begin crunch talks in Vienna seeking to seal a historic nuclear deal with Iran. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar, chaired a meeting during which discussions were held on the readiness of government ministries and authorities concerned, their plans and mechanisms of coordinating among them to receive visitors of the Kharif season. It viewed all that concerned to this exceptional season to facilitate procedures and to provide services for visitors of the governorate. The number of tourists until the end of last week amounted to more than 15,700 visitors compared to 16,800 for the same period of last year, with a decrease of 6.5%. His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar, said at the previous periods there were some problems, and the norm during the last 2 years is to hold a meeting before the start of the Kharif season to make sure that everything is ready on the part of the government as well as private sector and banks to ensure an enjoyable Kharif season for the visitors and tourists, to ensure that they experience all the natural potentials in the governorate without any hassles. During the previous periods there were some problems of accommodations, but now housing units are available, fuel services, banks, ATMs, all are in full preparation and available. Number of hotel rooms have increased as new hotels came into being. Foodstuff and other services are in abundance, and he wishes the season every success, adding that it's no doubt when hundreds of thousands flock to the governorate that they may cause some congestion, and that happens also at the big European capitals. Ministry of the Interior signed with the Industrial Management Technology and Contracting, MTAC, a lease, supply and installation contract of automated sorting machines for the 8th term elections. The Ministry of the Interior already approved the automated system in the sorting of voting forms during the last election term, as this system has proved to be highly effective in the count of votes and showing results in the same day of voting. His Excellency Engineer Khalid bin Hilal Busaidi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Interior and the head of the main committee for Shura Council 8th term elections, signed the agreement. The Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras and German Chancellor Angela Merkel spoke by telephone today and agreed that Athens would present proposals to a Eurozone summit the next day. The leftist government is scrambling to piece together a bailout deal before struggling Greek banks run out of cash after the nation yesterday rejected creditors' demands for further austerity cuts in a referendum. Tsipras today also spoke to European Central Bank Chief Mario Draghi and Russian President Vladimir Putin, while Greek President Prokopis Pavlopoulos rang French President François Hollande. In the final tally, 61.31% of Greeks had rejected creditor demands for further austerity in return for more bailout funds, sending European stock markets tumbling. The ECB is seen as the only institution capable of claiming market panic and preventing the Greek economy from collapsing. Foreign ministers from major powers began crunch talks in Vienna today seeking to seal a historic nuclear deal to end the 13-year standoff one day before a final deadline. The United States, Russia, China, Britain, France and Germany want Iran to sharply curb its nuclear program in return for sanctions relief. Iran denies wanting nuclear weapons, saying its activities are purely for peaceful purposes, such as generating electricity and treating cancer patients. The deal, capping almost 2 years of rollercoaster talks, would build on a framework accord reached in April in Switzerland. Under that framework, Iran will reduce by more than 2/3 of its uranium centrifuges, which can make nuclear fuel, but also the core of a nuclear bomb, reduce its uranium stockpiles, and alter its Arak reactor. Tough issues in finalizing the accord include working out the pace and timing of sanctions relief, Iran's future capabilities to develop nuclear equipment, and enhanced UN access, including potentially to military bases in Iran. An Iraqi-Russian made fighter jet accidentally dropped a bomb over a Baghdad neighborhood, killing at least 12 people on the ground. A military spokesman told reporters that a technical failure caused the jet to malfunction and drop the bomb, which hit a number of houses in the Iraqi capital's eastern neighborhood of New Baghdad. A police officer at the scene and a medical official at a nearby hospital said 3 children and 2 women were among the 12 killed. At least 25 others were wounded. Meanwhile, Daesh militants blew up an explosive-laden bulldozer near Haditha, killing 7 Iraqi soldiers. Yemen's government said today it expects a deal shortly on a humanitarian ceasefire that would run through the Eid al-Fitr holiday later this month. The United Nations has been pushing for a halt to fighting and air raids that have killed nearly 3,000 people in Yemen since March. The Yemeni government said talks were focusing on carrying out an April UN resolution calling for the Houthis to quit cities seized since September and for aid supplies to be sent to stricken Yemeni civilians. And still to come in our news bulletin. Ramadan manners in the countryside in the governorate of Dhofar are characterized by simplicity and a mild climate. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. A Ramadan evening was held in the Wilaya of Ibri in the governorate of Tahira. It witnessed a huge participation from citizens of the Wilaya, and it aimed to spread awareness messages among members of the society on the importance of following proper health practices to stay protected from chronic diseases, blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. The event included visual presentations, plays, and lectures on healthy nutrition. The accompanying exhibition included sections for testing blood pressure and diabetes, in addition to healthy food section and activities for children, especially drawings. Activities of the cultural competition continued in the International Maritime College Oman in the Wilaya of Sahar. It was organized by the Office of the Governor of North Batana in coordination with the Ministry of Information. The competition aimed to motivate the students of the college and universities and increase their knowledge in various fields. It was also considered an opportunity to shed light on the skills of the students in scientific and cultural fields. The questions presented in the competition focused on the heritage of the Sultanate, in addition to social, economic, religious, sports, and other aspects. Ramadan month is a blessed month where hearts of Muslims are combined with intimacy and cordiality. People from many rural areas gather at iftar gatherings in mosques close to their homes. Kids also take part by bringing various kinds of meals to the mosques. Iftar in the rural areas is not different from that in urban terms of variety. Ramadan manners in the countryside in the governorate of Dhofar are characterized by simplicity and mild climate, particularly during the Kharif days that are accompanied by breeze and low temperatures, and where fog covers hills and mountains of Dhofar. And now for the general weather forecast. Cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas in the nearby mountains of the Governorate of Dhofar, with chances of intermittent drizzle and fog on the mountains. The rest of the Sultanate will have clear to partly cloudy skies with low clouds over parts of the Hajar Mountains and areas overlooking the Arabian Sea. Winds will be north to northeasterly light to moderate along the coast of the Sea of Oman, while it will be south to southwesterly light to moderate, occasionally active along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coast of the Arabian Sea will be rough with a maximum wave height of 4 meters, and the rest of the coast it will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Governorate of Dhofar prepares to receive visitors of the Kharif season. The Greek Prime Minister and German Chancellor agree that Athens would present proposals to the Eurozone summit. And foreign ministers from major powers begin crunch talks in Vienna, seeking to seal a historic nuclear deal with Iran. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.